So we're going to be talking about recruitment to you guys today. I'm Bree, Danielle, Kyle, Matt, and Mike. Yeah, we should shorten this. Okay, so I'm going to be telling you guys the background on recruitment. I'm going to give you a little bit about like what exactly it is. I'm going to go through the recruiting process. It's a 7-step process, and the recruitment approaches. But we're going to hold off for 1 second because that's not moving.
Technical difficulty for those. Partially my fault too, probably.
It's all physical, actually.
Put it on there.
Are you looking for the auto advance?
Sorry.
Yeah, actually, on it.
It was just working.
Yeah. That's it? You want to start from the start again?
Cortez, what? There's 2 parts to this.
You gotta staple this to the front. And you know, look, we're doing your job today.
Start from that one stage.
Which one?
That,
Background?
no, that was one.
Casper, did you want this on there too? There's 2 pages.
No, one of them is a rubric for this.
So you just want this, right?
This is for the president.
No, you got this.
There's the whole song.
Okay, so recruiting is the overall process of attracting, selecting, and appointing suitable candidates for a job, either permanent or temporary, and that's within an organization. Okay, so we use recruitment for a lot of different reasons, not just for jobs. You can use it for job positions, you can do it for club or organization memberships, voluntary work, and even product use, like when people want to reach out for people to try their products, they'll look for certain candidates. I found that there are 7 steps in the recruiting process. You have first the setup, then you have source, then you have screen, schedule, feedback, offer, and onboard. The setup is when you evaluate your past and your current strategy to get a new candidate, and then you decide what kind of process you want to use. So I'm going to get into the different kinds of processes, but it's mostly what exactly are you looking for. So this is where job description comes in and what you're looking for, like things like that. When you source, you're finding qualified candidates through internal and external resources. So that's like through your advertising. You can advertise online or out in the open world with flyers and things like that. Screening is the first part of your hiring process. This is where you assess the candidates that you're considering. So that's phone screening, behavioral. There can be testing on skills and other things like that. And then you can schedule as your next step. So that would be your in-person interviews and follow-ups and other, this is where you usually shorten your list of candidates as well after the more important interviews. Then you'll move to feedback. So that can be between your peers in the company, so other employees, or even a manager. You'll get candidate feedback as well. So if someone were to not be interested anymore, this is the time when you'll find out. Your main priority is maximizing the amount of yeses, so the amount of candidates that would like to come back. Then you have the offer. So this is the in-depth pre-closure is what they call it, and that is when you pretty much negotiate and figure out what you want, what they want, and find a median, and then you give the offer. After that, that's when the candidate will decide if they want to be on board. So this is your contract, and there's enrollment and induction, as well as orientation for their membership or their job position, and then you'll have a post-start follow-up. Then there's different kinds of recruitment approaches. You have in-house, outsourcing, employment agencies, and internal recruitment, or internet recruitment. In-house, that's where you can do somebody within your company, so that would be your human resources department, they would do the search for you. And then internal would be your promotions, so people who can be promoted within the company already. And then you have employee referrals, so I could refer Danielle to my company's head manager who's looking for someone. Outsourcing, this is another way of recruiting. It can be performed by employees. Danielle will actually expand on that in her section, so I'm not going to get too much into that right now. Then you have employment agencies. So these can be public or private. There's traditional agencies, brokers, niche recruiters, which is specializing, and headhunters. Job Center Plus is actually one of the UK's biggest agencies, and a lot of people use that, as you saw the line of people. And then you have internet recruiting. So that's your website. So careeronestop.org, jobs.net, Indeed. And then social recruiting is all through social media. So your Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, things like that. And Danielle will take it from here.
All right. So, hi everyone. My name's Danielle. Today I'm going to talk more about the different types of sourcing. There you go. I'm going to talk about sourcing for candidates, which is a little bit of a different process that recruiters use. I'm also going to go through my personal recruiting experience that I used all summer because I'm interning as a recruiter, an HR assistant recruiter. So what is sourcing? Sourcing is the proactive searching for qualified job candidates. For open positions, it's not someone sending you their resume or an application and you going through that. You physically are going out and looking for the candidates that you want and that you would best fit the job. So I'm interning at Universe Workplace Solutions right now. It's a benefits communication company. So what we do is we partner with HR departments, and we have a call center in California, Florida, and New Jersey, and we recruit for our open enrollment season, which is mainly where we need our employees. We need 150 plus temporary agents in each location. So we did a lot of recruiting this past summer. We start recruiting in May, and we typically end recruiting in September. LinkedIn was one of the main sources that we used. I felt that this was the most resourceful. It's a business-oriented social networking service. It's mainly used by professionals, and there's 259 million acquired users. So that gives you a really large base of employees that you can choose from. So my experience, we had to search for insurance agents. So LinkedIn has a feature that you can type exactly what you're looking for. So you can type insurance agents and life, health, whatever you needed in. And then you can specify the location, so you could do the general Irvine area, Maitland, and Hamilton, which is where we're located. So there's thousands of professional profiles that come up, and this really gives you a choice to go through everyone's experience, and you pick who you think would best fit the job to see if they're interested. And then what you would do from there is you create messages. What we did, LinkedIn requests that I think you keep it under 150 characters, because then people are more likely to read through it. It's kind of just the company information, the job details, and you can save it as a template, and then you can send it to multiple people at once. Career Builder was another thing that we used. It provides labor market intelligence, talent management software, and online career search services, which was also another good one, but it was a little bit more difficult to use depending on how well you know how to recruit and how well you know your job. So what we did is employers have special access. You have to pay for it. You pay so much money a year, and then you go through a resume database. And it's resourceful when in need of a lot of employees fast, because you get so many different resumes. On the resume database, you search for, again, specific job titles and locations. And you can also search for specific companies. So if there's a company similar to yours, and you can just put that company in, and then you can get people that have worked there before, so they kind of know what to do already. The thing with Career Builder is it's cold calling from the resume. You kind of take the resume, you call them, you explain a little bit about the company details, and then you explain the positions available to see if they're interested. That's why it's a little bit more difficult, because sometimes they'll hang up on you, or they'll have no idea like where you're calling from. The third thing we used was Indeed. Indeed is an employment-related search engine for job listing. It's similar to Career Builder and LinkedIn. It's almost like a mixture of both of them, depending on how you use it. So my experience with Indeed is you search resumes like you search Career Builder. You put the job title, position, company, location, whichever you need. You can only see their previous experience, so you cannot see their contact information unless they approve of it. They can send you their contact information. So you get that by sending emails to candidates like you do with LinkedIn. You can create a template, email template again, so you can email multiple people at once. You can also, if they're interested, they'll accept it and they'll send you their contact information. And this is better because they already know about the job. You're not just cold calling them. So then we do pre-screening phone interviews. So with all of those, we see what their availability is, their experiences over the phone. We kind of have like a template of questions to ask. So in front of you, which makes it easier. And then we do open house interviews. So this is our main source of recruiting. This is like a small presentation. We go over specific job details and we do a company overview. So then people can see, if they're still interested in the job, and if not, then they can leave if they think it's not for them. But now we're going to move on to Kyle.
Okay.
Unlike Danielle, I am a person-to-person recruiter. I work for Sungevity. We do solar panels, and we're based out of California. And so I do a 6-step program when I'm working. We do establish our goals, we set up events, and then we qualify the candidates from those events. And then following the events, we set up interviews, both phone and in person. And then after the interviews, we do follow-up meetings, and then establishing goals. So establishing goals is the first thing. We need to know what positions do we need to fill, how many candidates are we looking to hire, the traits, qualities, and experience of those candidates, so when you're at the career fair, you know what you're looking for. Okay, so then we also need to know how we measure our goals. So we keep track of the quality of our workers, job retainment. If an employee works there for 90 days after you hire them, you get a referral bonus, so it's things like that. And then are there any other goals besides recruitment? So that involves brand awareness. So right now in my job, I met my quota, so now it's all about brand awareness. Okay, so this is a career fair that I actually worked at, and this was the booth. We were giving away tons of stuff. We set up a contest where whoever could get the best picture would win like a $100 Visa card. So setting up events, you need a timetable, you need a budget, and the budget helps you minimize the cost per hire, which is one of the most important numbers for recruiters. And then you need to get creative because there's a ton of people at the career fair, so you need to stand out. Okay, co-sponsoring events is another big part of my job. To co-sponsor an event, you try to find a club or an organization that is along the same lines as you. So I do solar panels, so we work with the environmental club, and it builds brand awareness. And since the campus has a lot of restrictions on outside companies coming in, you need to find your way in. And then off-campus events, kind of like Red Bull, my company has a truck that drives around, and we park in various parking lots, and we give away ice cream. And we also give away information about our company, and this kind of draws people in. And then qualifying candidates at career fairs. Initial contact is your first contact, like, hello, how are you? Ongoing conversation, make sure they can hold a conversation with you. And then you determine if they're interested or not, and then if they meet the basic qualifications, like age requirements or a car on campus. Following that, we do interviews. The first one's always a phone interview. It lasts around 30 minutes, and we're going to ask you questions about your resume. And then next is in person, where we go more in depth with the job. And then my job actually has a real world test, where we will take you out into the field, and you'll be performing the job that you're supposed to be doing. And you'll be with other candidates, so we can compare you to other candidates at the same time. And this way, if you get the job, you're already trained, and it's good for job retention. Okay, so follow-up. After these career fairs, we always have an email list and a phone call sheet. So we always leave a voicemail or an email. And then we normally like to follow people on social media because social media is getting big right now. And then we also do post-event things, and that's what this is. I set up a mixer after the career fair where we targeted ideal candidates from that career fair. And we told them we would have pizza and beverages. And it was a company-driven event, so all the activities had to do with Sungevity and solar panels and whatnot. So JobVite is an applicant tracking program used by recruiters, hiring managers, and HR personnel. And there's 3 aspects to it: JobVite Refer, JobVite Engage, and JobVite Hire. So this is what a rec sheet looks like on JobVite. Through this, you could see what jobs are open, what areas of the country they're open to. You could also see candidates and their interview, and then notes you take during their interview. And you can see when this was last updated, and then you could filter based on those categories. And these are all the candidates we have for my company. You can see there's like 20,000. Whoever I click on, I can see their resumes. I can see the last person in my company to contact them. And then I can see how they found out about the job, whether it be a career fair, Craigslist, Indeed. And there's also JobVite's referrals. So if I link my LinkedIn or Facebook to JobVite, I could send out an automatic post whenever we have a job opening, and it will send to the people in that area, and then it could track how many people are getting jobs through that referral. So retention, a good way to retain employees is to allow extra training, so there's opportunities for advancement. And something